Hey everyone, and welcome back to the Fortitude Fix. I hope you're well. My name is DaShanna, and in today's video we are getting deep. As you can probably tell by the title of this video and the thumbnail, I am going to be talking about the 5 reasons how I knew I needed to go to therapy. So just to catch you up, I started therapy a couple of months ago, and I wanted to kind of back up and talk about what led me to that place, because I feel like there is a lot of stigma, B, there's a lot of stigma in the Black community, and I just think things like this need to be talked about more. I feel like I've grown up and I was raised with this kind of strong Black woman mentality, and I feel like when I got to college a little bit after, I was like feeling that that wasn't necessarily what I identified with much, because what was happening was I was being strong, but it turned me into being hard. I think of that Lauryn Hill song of like, don't be a hard rock when you really are a gem. And I think I was being extremely hard. That isn't the manifestation of who I am that I wanted to be presented. So therapy has kind of come in and out of my life in various parts, but I wanted to sit down and just share this last time, like what made it like, girl, you gotta go. Like, quit playing. Don't be embarrassed. I know it's not widely talked about, and no, you don't have a diagnosis, but like, you need to go talk to somebody. The first time that I saw a professional, like licensed therapist, was when I was in college. As a preacher's kid, as a preacher's grandkid, growing up in the church, there's kind of this idea, not that therapy's bad, but that you need to pray. And those of us who believe in God, those of us who are Christian, we know that the Bible says faith without works is dead. And there's also an African proverb that says, pray but also move your feet. And so that's kind of where I was. So in college, there was a situation that happened that catapulted me into this really, really dark place. I was in a relationship with someone, and this was my first love. There was a lot of emotion and connection there. I got a call that they had been killed, and all I know is it was like days, and like they had planned to come to my house and everything because I was going home for the weekend and all the things. It was over winter break. Because of the nature of what happened, there was a lot of time that had to pass for things to take place before the funeral could happen. And so the funeral happened literally the following year. So this was in December, the funeral happened in January, and I went back to school like a week later. School went back in session, and so I went to school and I returned back to school and went to classes, and in hindsight I should not have done that, but it was the absolute worst semester that I had had in college ever. I remember just sitting in class and I'm listening to my professor, and I was like, I really don't care. Like, whatever it is you're talking about, I don't even know. Like, every single class that I was taking, I was like, I don't care. And I didn't care. I didn't care about anything. I didn't care about what I was learning. I didn't care about school. I didn't care about like my safety. Like, I did not care. And so I threw myself into therapy because it was free. As a student, I took advantage of that, and we deep dived into a lot of stuff. Long story short, I enjoyed that experience. I got a lot out of it. I was able to make connections that I hadn't made out loud or made at all ever before. I will always, always, always cherish that experience because it taught me so much about myself and how I deal in particular situations. I ended up withdrawing from that semester retroactively. I finished the entire semester. My grades were terrible, and I put in a petition to withdraw from that semester retroactively or after the fact and get all of those grades changed to W's, meaning a withdrawal, and then I ended up retaking all of those classes later on in my college career. I seek therapy again, and I saw a therapist through my hospital insurance. So I went to the hospital in their therapy department. Saw someone there. I ended up seeing them twice. I really did like them, but they explained to me that their form of therapy wasn't like what I was looking for. And they're very much like, if you're in crisis, make an appointment and come in, or call this hotline number. But it wasn't what I was looking for, of like trying to have a continuous relationship where I could continually do the work, not just when I'm in crisis. So that leads us to 2022, where we realized that my husband had some benefits at his job that allowed certain types of resources and help and assistance to him, obviously as the employee, as well as his family. So I sought a therapist through there, and I selected one and never heard from them. So I kind of gave up, and then honestly some things just got really heavy, and we'll get into that a little bit, and I decided to go back. I logged back in. I went through the proper process, I guess, of selecting a different therapist, and we were matched. We had like 2 sessions, and I just wasn't feeling like it was a good fit. I just felt like some of the fundamental things that I was sharing were also things that I couldn't change right now. And I think their approach was like, change your situation. It's that easy, just change it. And I'm just like, can't really do that. So I left that therapist and found another therapist, and I chose this therapist rather than like being matched with the other one. I chose this therapist, and we've met twice, and it has been very, very good. Let's go ahead and get into the 5 reasons why I knew I needed to seek therapy this time around and stick with it and be diligent with it. So the first thing that I started to really just put the pieces together around were literally the past 3 years of my life. Obviously there was the pandemic, and that affected everyone. I was pregnant in December, January of 2020, and things were fine in January, February, and then everything changed. So during that time, it was also a time that like I wasn't sharing that I was pregnant. And so basically going through your whole pregnancy when outside in the world is like shut down and everyone's like scared, it's really sad. So I couldn't have the baby shower that I always dreamed of having. I couldn't have the photo shoots that I wanted to have. I couldn't experience being at Target and somebody lets me cut the line because I'm pregnant. Like, I couldn't experience these things that I've heard so much about. Fast forward to giving birth, my mom wasn't allowed, his mom wasn't allowed. It was just me and my husband, no visitors. I was due in September, and I had Nova in September, but there were moms who were due earlier that year who literally had to give birth by themselves because not even their partner was able to be with them because of the COVID rules in the hospitals, and like us not knowing enough about what's going on and just really shutting things down. I was very happy to have my husband, but like I just could not get over the fact that I couldn't have my mom with me, and it was really, really hard. After that, the pandemic, my mom was diagnosed with cancer and ended up having a stroke, and then ended up passing away in 2021. So the fact that she wasn't like allowed to be with me in the delivery room, and then I was pregnant again. At that point, my mom had already had her stroke. She passed before my second daughter was born. Hasn't met her. I was pregnant at her funeral. It's just been really hard the past 3 years. I gave birth twice. So the whole experience of labor and delivery and their birth stories, going through all of that, we moved, we bought a house and we moved. I went back to being full-time at work. There has been so much happening that I was like, this is not normal. The way that I'm feeling is warranted for sure. It's valid for sure. But I just need a little bit of help kind of puzzling through the pieces. And so for me, because of all that, and because of like the warp speed that my life was going at, and being pregnant and having a difficult pregnancy toward the end and all of that, giving birth, coming back, postpartum, going back to work, I didn't have a chance to really grieve the loss of my mother. I feel like those feelings of grief are now settling in very, very strongly in a way that I'm not used to, in a way that I'm unsure how to process. Now, I have experienced death and grief many times over. I've already lost a mom. I've already lost a brother. I've already lost aunts and uncles and grandparents and great-grandparents and friends. This one's different. This one was very different. I just needed to be able to process out loud. So the past 3 years, I felt that my trauma responses were becoming more typical, like they were happening more often. And my response to certain feelings, again, that are trauma responses, I will likely shut down. I will stand up and go toe-to-toe with you. I will pull myself away. So I felt myself pulling myself away from the people that cared about me and loved me the most. I felt myself feeling like I'm overwhelming the people that I'm talking to. So because it's so normal to me, doesn't mean that it's normal for other people to hear that. And what I felt was happening is that I'm sharing some of these really, really, really deep and dark things that have happened to me, and I'm sharing it, just like spurting it out, and the people that are receiving it are like, whoa, 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 you know. And it's way more than, hey, I'm talking too much and I'm overwhelming you. It's very much me having a visceral reaction to other people's reaction of my story. So when I say things and then I see people kind of like, I don't know what to say, I don't know what, like they don't have the words, or they say something, or they're searching, I just feel like, oh my gosh, I'm dumping on you, and this is so much for somebody to sit and listen to. And so I needed a professional. So those are 3 reasons. The 4th reason I know I needed to get into therapy is I honestly was really emotional, and I was feeling feelings that made sense. I was also feeling feelings that didn't quite make sense, and I couldn't find a connection. So I'd be very, very happy, and then I would watch a commercial and I would start crying. Or I have very, very vivid thoughts and memories of obviously the happy times, but more recently the sad times and the situations that I was put in as her daughter. And, you know, from everything from having really hard conversations with doctors to asking the right questions and research and trying to ask better questions and getting second and third opinions and taking her to doctor's appointments while I am pregnant, while I am baby wearing my daughter, my oldest daughter, while I am pushing her wheelchair to go to a doctor's appointment, to when she passed and I had to make the phone call, and you know, they came and took her away, and just, I remember these things so vividly, and I would cry about them. And then sometimes I would just be very angry. I would be very angry. And I still believe that there is a deep anger that I have, that I'm working through. But it was manifesting itself in a way that was just not safe, and it was not healthy, and it was not conducive to the life that I wanted to live, and the wife that I wanted to be, and the mother that I want to be. So yes, that is reason number 4. The 5th reason that I knew I needed to sit in therapy is because I needed a shift. You know how when you were younger and the grown folks would be like, I'm so tired of being sick and tired, right? I'm sick and tired of being sick and tired. And that's literally how I was feeling. I was like, this cannot be all that there is. This cannot be it. Right? Like, I'm thinking of all of the things that I have gone through in my life, and I was like, I did not go through all of those things to be and exist here with this mindset, with these negative feelings. This is not the life that I want. This is not how I want to feel. This is not how I want to be remembered. Like, what? Like, I just knew that I needed a shift. I needed something to interrupt the atmosphere that I was in and experiencing. Obviously, if you continue to do the same things, you're going to receive the same results, right? So I know that I needed to interrupt that for there to be some sort of change. I'm here. I'm in therapy. That also means I need to do the work. I hope this video was helpful. I hope this video landed where it needed to land with whomever needed to hear it. I appreciate you so much for being here. You all have showed up and showed out for me over the past 2 to 3 years when I really got serious about my YouTube channel. Thank you for hearing my heart. I will see you right back here in my next video. Don't forget to subscribe. If you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button down below and join the fam, because we're getting real over here. We're getting real. All right. I will see you in my next video, and until then, remember to always fill your cup. Bye.